Hello, I'm James Barth from Rock Hard 4x4, and today I want to introduce to you the start of our series of our bed rack systems. Now, this is the first part of it. So the front part of it is separate from the rear, and you can integrate it as you would like. There's accessories that'll go along with this, which is some different light mounts that we'll show you in a few minutes. This is made of 120 wall 2-inch tubing. It has 3/16 brackets to go down the sides that mount into the bed with our brackets or with the factory bed rail system from Mopar. You'll notice that we have our gussets here between the tubing and the bracketry. It gives you a nice place to anchor stuff in when you are tightening things down in the bed. You'll notice that we use our 2-inch collars that we use and have used for multiple years in our roll cage systems. Now, this bed rack system is designed as a bed rack system, not necessarily as a roll cage system. But the tubing and everything is 120 wall, 2-inch tubing, very stout, very solid. We've designed it so that it's just above the cab height. So in case you had something that you put across between when you have our rear section along with our front section, say you wanted to put a surfboard or some other type of activity, things that you're going to use. I mean, the possibilities are endless. We're going to go ahead and show you how to install it here today. We're going to talk about our mounting systems that go in the bed itself into the factory holes. We're going to talk to you about the mounting systems that go in the factory bed rail system if you have that. This is designed to work with both. You'll notice that we've done some really cool, unique stylings on this. We call it actually a Fall Guy sports bar or Fall Guy design, because if you remember the 80s, we had a lot of trucks that were running around with roll bars in the back, the Scrambler, a lot of other Jeeps. We wanted to make this so that it was all part of that system. Plus, the cool part about it is it's designed here in the United States and built here in the United States at Rock Hard 4x4's facility in Nebraska. Now let's go ahead and show you how to install it. We went ahead and set this sports bar in place. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and install the upper bolt here, which is what we use as the factory bolt that was in our Gladiator when we purchased it. We use a T50 Torx and go ahead and tighten those in place. That'll hold our front bar in place while we add the bars coming to the back. If your bed does not have the factory included hardware, go ahead and use our hardware that is supplied in the kit. Go ahead and identify the right and left side angle bars. These here have the plate that goes down the side and a clamp here on the front. After you do the painting work on them, you want to head and tap the threads so that it makes sure the bolts with the collar caps go in place. Very simple. We're going to also show you now here of how to mount this to the bed rail system, whether you have the factory Mopar system or you have the Rock Hard 4x4 supplied brackets. Now we're going to go ahead and locate the hardware and the brackets. This is a 6mm bolt, and we're going to go ahead and put it through the little hole here in the bracket. So that's going to screw right into that factory nut insert in the bed. So we're going to go ahead and install this bracket in place. You'll notice that it's cut out so you can put a socket on there. We're going to go ahead and install this bracket in place so that we can put our angle bars here. We're going to go ahead and use a 10mm socket and tighten this bracket to the factory mounting places in the bed. With that in place, we're going to go ahead and locate the new hardware for the 2 bolts here. Now we're going to go ahead and set the sidebar in place. We'll go ahead and start the bolts going into our bracket here through these holes. Go ahead and start the bracket. You can go ahead and bring them down, but don't fully tighten them until we put the clamp on the upper side. For you guys that have the factory bed rail system, to install the T-nut, you go ahead and remove this little end cap right here. You're going to do that with a 5/32 Allen. In your hardware kit, you're going to notice that there's these T-nuts. These are strap metal that we've went ahead and drilled and tapped and cut them to the right length. Those, along with the Allen head bolts here, you're going to thread it together like this, okay? And then you're going to take it and put it in the bed rail system here, bring it down to where we go, and go ahead and unscrew the bolt. Do the same for the other one, and then we'll set the bracket in place. Now, if you are going to go ahead and be installing our back hoop, you want to go ahead and install the T-nuts from the front to the back. Now we're going to go ahead and start by installing the cap. One thing we just finished doing is we went ahead and ran a tap inside the threads here to clean them out. That tap for these threads of the collar are included in your hardware. Go ahead and locate the 6 Allen head screws and a cap. Go ahead and set the cap in place. And then you went ahead and start a screw on each side. And you're going to take a 1/4 inch Allen. Go ahead and start one in the center also on the other side. This holds everything in place, also makes it so that when you tighten it down, it brings the collar down straight. These are the same collars that we use in our roll cages on a lot of the different vehicles. Now that we've went ahead and got those two started, we'll start the other 4 bolts and we'll bring them together slowly, going back and forth between each bolt. Now that we've went ahead and installed all 6 bolts and brought the cap down in place, we want to just put a decent amount of pressure on them, but not over tightening the bolts. It's also good to put a little lubrication or oil on the threads as you're installing them. Now, you're going to install them and tighten them down with a 1/4 inch Allen. You're going to go ahead and bring in that cap, tighten it evenly. The other thing to keep in mind is in the hardware kit, there is a tap to tap the threads. Now, we've gone ahead and installed this side here. We're going to go ahead and tighten these bolts here at our bracket. You're going to need a retake 14. I can't read it, sorry. Right here.